Just to hit home about what I was saying last time, varying the licks, you could do something like this, so you could mess a bit with the time. So we could go like... It's got a different feel from it, and it's still pretty cool. And that lick will work pretty well as an intro. You could use it elsewhere, but as an intro, it's going to excel. That's where it's going to shine. Pretty self-explanatory, that one. The only things I'd really point out is maybe a subtle vibrato here. You want to get your rake, little bend here, and then slightly wider vibrato on that last note. You don't really need to hit the open A in this one. I think it gives a nice bit of grit to it, a nice bit of dirt. The rakes are the same idea, to give it a kind of bit more edge to it. Only other thing worth pointing out here is all the bends. I'm doing very staccato, like I'm bending up to them and then muting it almost straight away. Straight out of BB King's bag of tricks, this one. Similar to the last one, just mute the bend when you reach the note you want to hit. You can hold it, but it gives it a slightly different feel. So I suppose it just depends what you're after. Not done a rhythm yet, so let's look at one of those. This has got a boogie kind of shuffle feel to it. Only noteworthy things here really are if you want to give it a bit more energy, a bit more kind of swing to it. Hit all the strings, just make sure you're muting the ones up here with your first finger, the low one with your thumb. And with this thing, just make sure the B string's not ringing out, otherwise you get some pretty nasty dissonance going on. That one's incredibly similar to two I had in the previous video, but again just hitting home at the fact that you can use this basic idea. Use different timings and different ways of combining the notes or going between them just to get a slightly different variation of what is essentially the same lick. Probably goes without saying, but as with before, all the examples are in A. As a backing track I'll put up here, so you can play along with that if you want to. So as with the kind of standard tricks, I'm just sliding into this from a semitone below. Doing a wee bit legato here. So I'm just playing that once. When I come to the 17th fret here, you can either hit it by itself or give it a wee rake. If you've not done the slide before, this is a pretty good one just to get into it. You kind of want to line the slide more or less up with the fret wire to help intonate it. With something like this, your key pitch is really A, so you could let this string, you could let the A string drone. That'd help if I hit the right string, wouldn't it? You could let that drone in the background. And that'll help your left hand with the intonation and vibrato. The other thing I'm going to point out is I prefer to play it the few times I do play slide with my fingers, so I find it's a lot easier to mute the strings that I don't want to be played and stop them from ringing out. This one's particularly nice if you let the notes ring into each other like that. We play this one quite staccato and with quite a bit of aggressive right hand. It's going to have a lot more attitude to it. Similar idea with this one, and it's quite a bit of a dirty one again, that kind of chromatic descent. And then letting the open A string ring over the bend and then resolving down to A, because it's really kind of raunchy. Kind of gnarliness, like on the edge of being disgusting, but you resolve it so it's okay. So as I mentioned in the first part of the video, if you've not seen that, I'll link it up in the corner and put a link down in the comments below. I was trying to keep as little talking as possible in these videos because I didn't think they needed too much context, so feedback on that would be really appreciated. The other thing I was aiming to do is to keep them relatively short, because if you're wanting to learn something new, if there's a kind of 20 or 30 minute video, your attention span's going to kind of wane by the time. So I thought if I make them kind of short, it's something you could kind of digest fairly quickly. It's not bombarding with too many things, and if there's some licks you don't like and some you do, you'll just obviously pick the ones you like and focus on them. Cool, so as always, I hope you guys are taking something away from it, learned something from it, and hopefully enjoy the kind of format that I'm trying out here. If that was the case, if you've enjoyed it and you've taken something away from it, please do consider to share, like, comment and subscribe if you feel so inclined. Cheers guys!